Hello everybody. I'll try and keep my hair away from the mic as well because I'm trying to do things a little bit better. But anyway, I want to do a quick little video about what I've learnt recently from using patterns, because I grew up using patterns, and because I was much younger, my mum would help me do it, and so there's a lot of stuff I kind of don't remember about them that she just helped me with, and stuff now that I'm using patterns now that I'm older, and just like the missing pieces, like just the things they don't really tell you in patterns, which I'm probably a little bit surprised about, but I kind of am not at the same time, because there's only so much you can fit probably on the 2 pieces of paper that I get in my patterns on how to do things. So I'm going to try and multitask and cut out a pair of shorts that I want to make using this really cool looking denim. So, all right, my first thing I wanted to say, see, I have my list. I need things like lists so that I know what the heck to talk about. Seam finishes. So the last pattern I did, which was the blue and white dress, the seam finishes, they kind of leave it blank. And I read through the patterns before I filmed this so I could know what I was saying. And it didn't, like the last 2 patterns I've used, they don't say even to overlock a seam on the edge to make it look nicer so it won't fray, or different kinds of seams. Like on the dress, I did like the bias binding I made myself so that the edges would look nice and finished and not fray. But the pattern, yeah, it didn't even tell me anything. It just said fold it over now here and stitch it down and just leave it. So because I know about certain things and how to finish some things, I realized like there's a few options. Like I'm not a professional or anything or know heaps, but I do know ways around it to make the finishing look nicer. So I'm really thankful that I'm not going into it not knowing anything. But in case, yeah, you were thinking maybe pattern tells you everything, they actually don't. And I sat down before I was making this video thinking, what other points could I make in it? And I've seen videos of people talking about this one's beginner friendly, or like things for beginners to use, and maybe they've got more information in them. But I'm just using the general, I've been using McCall's patterns. They're the only ones I've bought right now, and I'm guessing they're pretty much all the same. So yeah, the other things were, like for example, they don't tell you what stitch lengths to use. Say on, if you don't know what the stitch lengths are, I'll show you. I will turn the machine on. The stitch length is this. It goes shorter to longer, which correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure this means millimeters. I think the stitch lengths are like 2.4 millimeters, or you could go lower or way up. And I've actually been stitching around 2.8 to 3 on my projects now. I used to stick between there, 2.4 to 8 before, because that's what my mum used to kind of do for most things. So that's how I got used to it. But things like jeans and denim things, I actually think like 3 looks better. Oh, it is recording. So yeah, having said that, there's just some random things that you don't get told. And because I'm saying this is because I'm not really a beginner, but if I was a beginner, I would probably be really, really lost trying to do some patterns. And look, there's heaps of videos out there that'll tell you what patterns don't tell you and everything, and so I'm just jumping on the bandwagon to say what I feel like saying about it. That was my pattern book of all my little patterns I've made, and they are super basic on my pattern pieces. I cut them out of wrapping paper. You can use all sorts of paper, butcher's paper, the see-through baking paper, just stuff like that. But I like the wrapping paper I have because it's like wide and you can roll it out a few meters. But all my pattern pieces don't have anything written on them of what to say. So I make this because I have a general idea of how to put it together. So yeah, if somebody came in here, they wouldn't know probably step by step unless you knew what you were doing on how to do it. So yeah, it's just something I found really interesting, that would probably make beginners really, I don't know, stumped or something. I'm just glad that I'm not a beginner in learning it, because patterns still frustrate me. I got really, I hated patterns. I just hated them because I would make something, you measure yourself, you know, it says I'm this size on the pattern, and then you go to wear it after you've stitched it together and it doesn't fit. And I used to get so frustrated because I'm like, why can't it just fit? But apparently that's the norm with patterns. Like, everyone's different, everyone's shape is different, and they're not just going to you know, fit everybody. They need a bit of alteration. And I've only learned that now that I'm older and I'm getting back into sewing. And that's made me, I think, look, not hate patterns so much now that I'm older. And it's good because patterns will still show me things that I don't know. But yeah, so that was the main points I wanted to make. But my piece of paper had something else written. One big thing I found was pattern sizes. I don't know if they've changed recently over the years or compared to the ones that I grew up that my mum had, but I usually wear like a 10 to 12 size in Australia. But not every shop sells the same size and it's made the same size. You can get a size 12 somewhere else that is smaller or bigger. So it's really not that great. I don't know why something hasn't been worked out with making sizes just a general, like, just stick to that, either it be Australian sizes, US, whatever. But the sizes on these patterns that I've gotten lately, my measurements are saying that I'm in, like, my bust size is a size 16, and then my waist to hip size measurements are in the size 14 sections. And I'm neither of those sizes. Like, generally, I'm below it. But it doesn't bother me because it's just a number. Like, people said size numbers don't matter. It doesn't. Your measurements, if your measurements are what they are, and then who cares about the number on the pattern? It's just your measurements are what you need. That's it. So yeah, sizing on patterns is really annoying, and it makes it hard when you go shopping. You can't just say, yeah, I'm this size, and just buy a pattern. You have to look at the back of the pattern. I'll show you. You have to, on here, look at the back of the pattern, and they will tell you your sizes. And then you measure yourself, bust, waist, hip, etc. You measure them, and if they come out, you know, well, so for me, here's my measurements. Just be similar. My bust is 40, which apparently, there we go, 18. I was wrong. I was saying I'm a size bigger. 40, because it's in inches. Waist is 30.5. So I'm kind of between 16 and 18 there. Then hips are 38. So I'm down here to a 14. Oh, you can't even see it. So apparently with my measurements, I'm going between 3 sizes on this pattern. So that's exactly why pattern sizes don't really matter. And I've got to look at some other patterns, but these McCall ones are saying that size. There could be different brands that say I'm smaller, or you know. So yeah, interesting. That's not really I'm not having a go at anything or saying there's something wrong with it. Just something I've noticed, and I find it intriguing. But anyway, I'm going to get to and cut my pattern because I'm not going to get anywhere if I keep on talking. So thank you for listening, and stay tuned for the next video, I guess. Please stay tuned.